to Indonesia, where Chief Security Minister Wiranto is recovering in hospital tonight after being attacked by a knife-wielding assailant. Mr. Wiranto was leaving a vehicle in Banten province when he was stabbed before officers tackled a man and a woman. The former general has suffered 2 deep wounds to his stomach. 3 others, including a local police chief, have also been injured. Mr. Wiranto had to be airlifted to hospital in Jakarta. Indonesian President Joko Widodo says Mr. Wiranto has undergone surgery, while the hospital says he's conscious and in stable condition. The man detained at the scene has been identified as 31-year-old Shahril Alam-syah, while the woman is 21-year-old Fitri Adriana. Local police say Shahril had been exposed to IS radicalism. Now, for more, our correspondent Chani Vidvani joins us live from Jakarta. Now, Chani, just how did the attackers manage to get so close and to breach the security surrounding top security minister Wiranto?
Well, police have said that it was when Chief Security Minister Wiranto was exiting his car and interacting with a crowd that the stabbing occurred. Police have rejected the possibility of relaxed safety procedures. They've said everything was done in accordance with their protocol, and by all counts, this type of public interaction, or just interacting with the public, was something that they considered a normal occurrence. Now, a group of people had gathered in the area to try and interact with the minister. Some wanted to take pictures, others wanted to shake his hands. I also want to point out, guys, that this interacting between officials and members of the public is very common in Indonesia, and it is something that happens with all officials, including the president. In fact, my colleague Saiful Bari Ismail and myself had an opportunity to accompany President Joko Widodo on one of his spontaneous walkabouts where he interacted with people, and it really is hard to predict what could happen in such situations. And based on our experience alone, the president was mobbed by people as soon as he stepped out of his vehicle, and even for us accompanying him, it took some effort, really took some effort to keep some distance from the jostling and the throbbing crowd. So it really is quite a complex situation, because officials have always had this type of interaction, and even though the area is always scanned by security prior to the officials' arrival, it isn't possible to scan every single person in attendance in such a spontaneous situation.
Chani, what's been the response from the public to this attack?
Well, public reaction has mostly been that of shock, that such an attack at such close proximity, using a weapon that had to be utilized manually, so to speak, with direction to cause harm, was even possible in the first place. Of course, the first question that has come up in everyone's minds has been that of security, and some members of the parliament have called for security standards for state officials to be re-evaluated. Some people are saying that security operational standards have not been carried out properly. On the other hand, some officials have come forward and to say that there is no need for a knee-jerk reaction and instill extra security measures as well.
Chani, we understand this isn't the first time that Mr. Wiranto has faced targeted attacks. Tell us more.
That's right. This isn't the first time that Mr. Wiranto has been targeted. In fact, earlier this year in May, the minister, along with 3 other officials, were the targets of a failed assassination plot, which was linked to the deadly riots in Jakarta after Mr. Widodo's election victory was officially established at the time. 6 people were arrested for this failed plot. Now, 2 people, husband and wife, were arrested in Minister Wiranto's stabbing attack earlier today. Police say the man who stabbed the minister was inspired by the Islamic State, as you mentioned earlier, and State Intelligence Agency Chief Budi Gunawan said that they believed the suspects were part of militant group Jama Ansharut Daulah, or the JAD network, which is linked to the Islamic State. Now, the attack on Mr. Wiranto took place in Pandeglang in Banten province, which is known as a hotbed for Islamic extremism. There have been many arrests of suspected terrorists by Indonesia's counterterrorism forces in that particular province.
All right, many thanks for that. Chani Vidvani speaking to us from Jakarta.